So why are all these areas fenced off with very little happening? I guess that's the main question that everybody's asking. A couple of important things to note about school property. The buildings are owned by the Ministry of Education, and the Board of Trustees is given a certain amount of money to help maintain those buildings. Another thing is that we don't get any funding in advance of role growth. Even though we can show that we're expecting the role to grow, we don't qualify for any extra funding for the classrooms we need until we actually have those children on our roll attending school. Let's talk about the multi-purpose building. So two main reasons why we're having delays with this build. Number one is around material shortages, and some of the things that have been planned, the materials are no longer available and we can't source them from anywhere, and finding suitable alternatives for a comparable price has been very, very difficult in the current environment. The second reason is our ever-changing Ministry of Education building requirements. So why are all these areas fenced off and ready for work, but there seems to be so little happening? Okay, we've had quite a few challenges along the way. This has not been a simple, easy, straightforward build at all. The two new classroom modern learning hub that was planned for in the admin block was meant to start at the beginning of the year, and in fact it did start. Some contractors moved in and begun demolition work, but before they opened up the floor and took the floorboards away, they had to check air safety in regard to asbestos levels. What they discovered is potential for asbestos contamination, and so the whole project ground to a big halt, and the project has been locked down ever since. We have no staff room, and those two classroom spaces are completely unusable. It's the outdoor area, including the car park, is blocked off, and this has been a very big, complex thing for the board and for the ministry to deal with, because there's contracts in place, there's safety of everybody needs to be paramount and is our main concern at all times. And we've had to comply with things and trying to work out how we can work through contracts that already exist, the legal sides of that, and things like the scope of the project and the costs associated with the project now requiring asbestos dust to be removed and packaged and taken off site has just been huge, you can imagine. So I guess you would like some good news. I've got some good news. So about a month ago, the Board of Trustees voted to send all of the projects involved here that are causing all the problems, the asbestos, etc., off to Capital Works, and they will become part of one big enormous project managed by Capital Works, which means that the school doesn't need to try and find money from nowhere for the mop-up costs and any other costs associated with these extra difficulties and layers of complexity that we've ended up with. And last week I had some additional good news, and that is that we've had a ministry employed property manager appointed to oversee all of the Cromwell primary property projects. And so that's like a big weight off my shoulders and also off the Board of Trustees, who have been working very, very hard for a long time to get everything going. So I'm feeling excited and very optimistic that we're on a good path now.